we get into our first panel, we definitely want to explain the work of the task force and hold ourselves accountable for the progress that we're making. So I want to turn it over to Patrick Wright, who actually, along with his team, including Forrest and Kristen and Sky and others, is getting the work done. Patrick, in layperson's terms, without government wonkiness, what's happening on the task force?
All right, thank you. That's quite a challenge. But it is important for folks to know, particularly so many of you here for the first time, just to give you a flavor of the context, particularly as we at the task force really try to go regional in a major way. I'm just going to start, though, with just a few highlights in terms of the investments that are at stake. Forrest? There we go. As Wade said, this is our fourth major regional meeting. We had sort of a mini regional meeting to get started, but we've had 4 meetings now in a row where we've had the same format, where we have scientists tell us what the key issues and opportunities are in each region. We've had regional leaders talk about the key issues, and then we've had a specific focus on individual topics. We alternate those with Sacramento meetings where we get into more of the nuts and bolts of state and federal programs to make sure they're working more effectively and efficiently. Next year, we're going to continue that. We're leaning right now towards a Southern California meeting in the spring, Northern California meeting in the fall to try to keep the momentum going, but also try to take a little bit of a different approach. Now that we've laid the groundwork, now that we have tools out, how do we really then move forward in a major way to accelerate the pace and scale of our work? Just a couple of brief highlights on the investments that are flowing. I won't spend a lot of time on this because we've already done that. At the state level, just in this region alone, $371 million over the last few years. Huge investment by the state of California. We'll have a lot of time to go into that. CAL FIRE, as you know, has half a dozen different grant programs well underway, helping you do the work you need to do on the ground. California State Parks has huge park system up here doing what they can to make sure their park system is thriving and is resilient. The Forest Service got this number actually this morning, more than $1 billion, if you can believe that, has been awarded in the state of California and in Hawaii in just this last year. It's a staggering amount of money and really makes me think about, wow, how are we going to pull this off? How are we going to try to align all this new federal money, all the state money that's rolling, all the local work that's been going on? We have a challenge because we're all accountable collectively to make sure that money is spent in a way that's protecting the health of our forests and the safety of our communities. We also have BLM out there. Wade introduced Karen. I was happy enough to join here a couple of months ago where they announced their new streamline package, very similar to the state's CalVT program, where they're going to be able to cut through the red tape and get thousands of acres done at a time through landscape level projects. So again, a lot going on to try to more effectively and efficiently spend money. A key to that, as several of us have talked about, is what we're calling these regional resource kits. We've got the 4th and final one completed. In a nutshell, you can go online right now to the task force website and get a huge amount of information on this region, what the key issues are, what the key metrics are, things like carbon, forest health, water, climate, etc., all there to help you better plan and prioritize projects. This was a huge lift. We gave our scientific team 2 tasks. One, pull together all these important metrics on time and reach agreement. Scientists aren't used to being on time and reaching agreement. So I want to thank John Battles, who introduced the team this afternoon, for their incredible effort to knock heads and say, yeah, there's a lot of metrics, a lot of science out there, but what do folks on the ground really need to better plan and prioritize their projects? And so we're going to get a flavor of that this morning. It starts with the regional profile, which outlines all the key issues and opportunities in this area. Then it goes on to talk about what we're calling these regional resource kits. Again, we've done a deep dive on these in previous meetings, so I'm not going to go through an extended explanation of them. The simple one is, for each region and sub-region, we have goals, of course, things like carbon storage, resilience, fire protection, water. We have metrics that would allow you and others to evaluate how you're doing on each of those things. Things like tree density, carbon storage, species diversity, all put together by our scientists. A set of assessments. You'll see some of these maps this morning that talks about every part of the state and the health of each part of the state with respect to each of those metrics. A new decision support system that allows you at your fingertips to plan and prioritize projects using dozens and dozens of metrics. So you can see trade-offs, you can see where the priority areas are in your region. And then a tracking system that will show you where all the recent projects have been and where future projects are being planned. And then the last part of it is a monitoring system that we're just beginning to launch to evaluate the effectiveness of those projects in improving the health of the forest and the safety of our communities. All in the name of trying to increase the pace and scale, give you the tools you need to go faster and to go bigger. So I hope you'll listen carefully later this morning about that. I told John, take your time. It's going to be a little late. We're going to be going into lunch, but I think you'll see for the first time the real power when you take some of these tools, like the dashboard that we released last month, where it'll tell you where all the projects are across every ownership. That's what we call footprint acres. Every acre of land that the Forest Service, state parks, BLM, other agencies are conducted, it's all there, it's all at your fingertips. We also have a separate dashboard that's based on activity. Where are we doing prescribed fire? Where are we doing thinning? Where are we doing reforestation? Again, all of that is at your disposal. All of that's at your fingertips to help better plan, prioritize projects, and understand where other projects are happening in your region so we can get to the alignment that we've all talked about. And then again, as Jennifer said, all this is going to come together into what we're calling a Forest Data Hub so that you don't have to research 6 different databases to try to figure out what's going on. It'll all be in one place. Again, that's under construction. It'll take a year or 2 to build, but our hope is it'll all be there in one place, again, to give you the tools you need to better implement your projects. And then finally, how are we going to get this done financially? Again, a lot of money is flowing. We've got several different efforts underway at the state level to try to help you better organize and plan projects, and in particular, to shift from a project focus to a landscape focus. At the state level, that's being led by the RFFC program, which started just 3 years ago with a handful of areas where they wanted to help capacity build. It's grown into a statewide network where all of these subregions throughout the state are sharing their projects, sharing their information, pulling together comprehensive plans to take their efforts to the next level. Federal side is actually ahead of us on this. As you heard this morning, they've got these 6 major priority areas in the state. BLM has one as well, where they're pouring in tens of millions of dollars to each of these areas with the recognition that we're not going to get where we need to be unless we scale up and we produce transformative work at a large scale. Rather than scattering money over the entire state, we're really trying to focus on those areas that need the most work while we use the RFFC program at the state level to build capacity so we don't leave folks behind. So I hope that gives you just a flavor of where we're going. This afternoon, as we've talked about, we'll focus on this area. We've got 2 major federal priority areas, the Klamath Basin and the Trinity area, which is where we're going to spend a lot of time this afternoon thinking about what's working, what's not working. And we have 3 state priority areas, the North Coast Partnership, the North Sacramento area, and the Intercoast area, to try to figure out how can we most effectively align ourselves to invest the money that's coming from both the state and federal level. So again, keep in touch with our website. It has all that information out there on the regional profiles, the regional kits, the metrics that's there for you to make you and your collaboratives more effective, not just here, but throughout the state. Thank you, Wade.
Patrick, thanks so much. A lot happening, and I'll just, again, draw your attention to, if you don't get the monthly newsletter, sign up for it. It's really well done, and it tracks a lot of progress, but also resources or announcements, funding opportunities, et cetera. So if you would, definitely follow the work of the task force. So I want to ask my colleague Kristen to come up, and as we transition to the first panel, she's going to lead us through a little bit of a stretch break in place. Kristen.
I don't have a mic, but I expect you guys at home to do these too. So I need everyone to stand up. This is your time to move in as well or out. We're bringing up the first panel. All right. Is everybody standing? All right, stand up, put your arms over your head. Get as tall as you possibly can. Lift up out of the arches of your feet. Feel the energy coming up through the inner thighs, up through your pelvic floor, abdominals, crown of the head. Stretch your armpits. Feel them. Okay, now ground down. I didn't say put your arms down. Arms up. Ground down from your feet and flex your entire body. Bow your entire body to the same side as I'm doing. That's a good one. And then the same thing, ground your body or your feet down and then lift up and are you guys doing this at home? I can see you. All right, lift up. Now just kind of round forward. Flex, go ahead and interlace your finger or your fingers and press your palms forward. Oh, good, yeah, okay. Now stand up. You are going to reach forward with your right arm and back with your left. Look back or forward and shake your neighbor's hands. At the same time, you're shaking hands? Good, and then other way. Shake their hand. Reach out and touch someone. Good, all right, back up. Okay, so your seats came up, but I need you to, we're not done. Stand up on your toes. Rock back and lift your toes up. Again, up on the toes and back. Who's falling over you? We'll work on that. All right, and now take 5 squats, and then you can sit down. 5, 4, slow down. 3, 2, 1. Nice job.
Fantastic.